Thank you so much to PlayStation for sponsoring this video. I am Mighty Key. And today, I want to talk about Ghosts of Yotei. Came out earlier this month. PS5 exclusive, of course. Made this by Sucker Punch Studios. You know, same people made Ghosts of Tsushima. This takes place 300 years after the events of Tsushima. And guys, I've been having a lot of fun. I'm gonna be honest, I just beat it. I was gifted a code, but I wanted to start it with everyone else because that's fun when I have a community that I can experience the game with. This isn't gonna be scripted of any kind. I kind of just have like my thoughts that I'm putting down. Obviously, the first thing you're going to see is graphics, right? So let's talk about that first. Graphics are pretty amazing. You know, they're just good. Like the lighting is better. You're going to hear a lot about that because really my whole overview of Ghosts of Yotei is that it took almost everything of Ghost of Tsushima and dialed it up to 11. And I do mean like everything. I'm talking about the side quests, the exploration, the graphics, the combat. It's all very, very familiar. It just is dialed up to 11, which is what I would hope, you know, the next game in the series would do. So they did that well. But like graphic wise, like again, the lighting looks really good. The environments look very good. And that's important because like exploration is really huge in an open world game. And if the graphic, if you're like riding around looking for things in an environment that looks terrible, like that just hurts the overall experience. So the good graphics kind of lead its way into like the good exploration. And boy, let me tell you, the exploration in this is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. What I thought was actually pretty cool is that they actually have the landscape is kind of like created specifically for you to be able, because there's a lot of like flat land, and that's like specific so that you can see the smokes in the horizon and then use your little scope to like binoculars, to scope out certain landmarks, and then that's kind of how you find things organically. And then of course, when you talk to people, they give you more places of importance. And then of course there's a cartographer, I believe is the name of it, in different inns that give you maps that you can do a little small mini game and then kind of put the map put the missing piece on the map and then find different stuff. There's foxes, of course, like in the previous game. And what's different is they have wolves in this game. So you can find the wolves and you can upgrade. They'll like send you on a little chase and whatnot. And of course, bamboo strikes and other little side things that you can go and do. But the exploration was actually pretty good. It always seems like everything I found was organic. I didn't really need to look at my map that often. But what I've noticed is that there's like small periodic wind blows in that direction anyway. And I have a very easy time finding where I'm going without having to interact with that or the map at all. So it almost feels like, and of course the UI is minimal. So it's like, dang, everything just feels more so organic. So I really enjoyed the exploration in this game. The game also utilizes your controller pretty well. The touchpad, you can use that in various mini games, at the campfire, cooking. There is a point where you can do some not really songwriting, but kind of just you're making music. You're making music on your instrument. There is writing like in the very beginning and throughout the game that you can do like the kanji and whatnot. So yeah, the haptic feedbacks are very good because you kind of feel a lot, right? When you're trotting on your horse, you can feel a lot, and various other things. But I think I enjoyed the way it utilizes the controller pretty well. I mean, and then of course, they don't make it intrusive, right? Because you can always skip it if you want to. But I did it for a while because it was just fun, I guess. You can make in the fire or cooking or anything like that. But I just wanted to share that little part. The game isn't linear. Well, okay, so there is obviously some structure, right? But in the beginning areas, it's not very linear to the point where it's not crazy where it's like, oh, you have 10 things that you can do them at any point in time. It's more of like, hey, in the beginning, you can either fight the Kitsune first or the Oni. And depending upon, you'll get completely different stories, obviously, but it's not like you need to fight one of them over the other to, make the story make sense. So you can fight either one of them. Funny enough, I think people really wanted the spear. So like I heard a lot of people fought the Oni first because you know in his path I believe you go is closer to getting the new weapon, the spear. I went to the Kitsune. So I went up to the. I love snow in these games, in open world games. I don't know why. I'm just weird. I just love the way snow looks, and the snow in this game looks really good. And of course, the physics when you're walking in the snow look really cool. It sounds crunchy. Also, the weapon you get in the snow area, Kusarigama, it kind of answered a huge question for me in this game because I was having a hard time with warriors who had shields, and I was like, what is going on? At this point, I only had the katana and the dual blades, right? Singular katana and dual blades, and I was not doing as much stun to them, so I was like, there's got to be something missing. And finally, I realized, okay, this was the missing piece of the rock paper scissors that this game was offering, or part of the rock paper scissors that this game was offering, and it's incredibly fun. It's incredibly fun. You can kind of stealth kill somebody from ranged, right? If you build into that. But it's also very fast, and it also, gets rid of the shield problems. So I was like, I gotta go here. I gotta get this. Go down the Kitsune's route. It's mad fun. I'm not gonna spoil any story stuff, but the Oni and the Kitsune were godlike. That was some good storytelling. I really enjoyed those two in particular. Like the whole events that happen in that. There are some plot twists that go crazy in those, and some reveals that go crazy. Now I want to talk about my most fun part, the combat. Like I said, everything is dialed up to 11 in this game, and they dialed up the combat as well. In the previous game, you had stances, right? And that was kind of like the rock, paper, scissors. And each stance would be better than would combat another stance, but also be worse than another stance. So it's like, okay, rock, paper, scissors. In this game, you now have, I believe it's 5 weapons, and each weapon is better or worse against another weapon. So if you have a katana, it's good against katanas, but it's bad against spears, right? But if you have dual katanas, then that's what's like good against spears because they're much faster. But yeah, that's kind of like the rhythm of the game is that you fight people, and then when they switch weapons, you switch weapons. There's also disarming, which I didn't actually utilize as much as I thought I would. I know that you can. There's definitely skill points to like utilize it more, but I didn't really utilize it as much. So if you remember Ghost of Tsushima, it's going to be very familiar, but you just have more options, right? And then of course each weapon has their own skill tree. All right. I love assassinations in these type of games, right? I just love them. And in this game, it goes crazy because there was a time, right, where you could do like a smoke bomb, right, and then assassinate almost like 6 people in a row, depending upon your gear. Like I was wearing a gear where if I could continue an assassination for 2 more attempts with my kunai, and I already had a 3-part chain assassin. So if I had 5 people near me, all I had to do was throw down a smoke bomb, and boom, they're all clapped up, and that was so fun. Like it was a huge power scaling from like, I guess, the beginning of the game to the point where you max out that silent assassin skill tree and then equip that certain piece of gear. It was like, dang, what would have normally taken me, I don't know, a few minutes to go through, 5 different people, took me a matter of seconds, because I decided to go down this gear path and go down this skill tree. And I thought that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that character progression. I played on the Mike mode, right? So my camera angle was kind of close up, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing. It's good because it's like, it looks cool, it looks more dynamic. But the bad thing is that a lot of tells off screen you can't see. So you really have to be moving that camera. Like the camera is like, it's intentional, right? It's supposed to be more close up for a dynamic shot, but at the same time, you don't know what's hitting you from behind or to the side or anything. So you have to be more wary about your surroundings. But what is also cool is that it has much more like dramatic blood splatter or mud splatter, stuff like that. So, that's it. I didn't even try the Wantana mode because like that was like the lo-fi mode, right? I didn't even try that yet, but I might later on. I already like the original soundtrack, so I didn't really put on the lo-fi stuff. But for most of my game, I played in the Mike mode. But yeah, the combat was incredible, right? Utilizing the kunais, utilizing the smoke screens, utilizing at some point there is smoke that you can throw on people, and it actually can turn into poison. And so that was actually pretty sick. But yeah, breaking people's stamina down. The boss fights were very good. There was, I forgot one boss fight that I was like, bro, it made me turn off the game. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I was triggered, and I don't get triggered easily. I forgot the name of the boss, bro. I think it was like something unalived or unveiled or unrelenting. I forgot, but I was like, bro, get me out of here, bro. It took me forever to beat that guy, but it was fun. It was actually really fun, and I don't even think he was like a story boss. I think he was just a, you know what I'm saying, like a dude on the side. Like you could miss the quest if you know what I mean, if you don't pay attention. But it was fun. It was fun. None of them are frustrating to the point where it's like I'm done with the game for real. But it was like frustrating to the point where it's like, bro, I gotta really like lock in. Like I gotta lock in. But yeah, if you're familiar with the Ghost of Tsushima combat, then you'll be right at home. If you enjoyed that combat, you'll be right at home. It is, again, like I said, just dialed up. Like everything sounds crunchier, feels crunchier. Things interact with each other better, and I really enjoyed the combat. I was like that was like I'm gonna be honest, the reason why I play these type of games. I really enjoy the exploration and I enjoy the combat. And those two were 10 out of 10 for me. Last but not least, I want to talk about the drip in the game. Now, you remember the previous game, then you know about the current game. It's crazy. Different colors, lots of different armors to go with, and they all look so good. There are some armors that I have not gotten yet that I've seen online, and I'm like, yo, amazing. I love the drip in this game. It feels good. I'm hoping for like a what's it called? The name of it is escaping me. Where it's like you can have certain gear stats on, but you're looking like something else. Transmog. I don't know why it took me forever to. I'm hoping for a transmog because I want to wear stuff that's like sneaky, but also I want to look crazy, like a buff like other gear that looks way too bulky. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I don't want it to make sense. I want it to be a transmog. But the gear is really good. I don't want to just be limited to just like one piece of gear. I want to be able to change them all, but still keep the stats that I want. So hopefully that comes in the future, but who knows? But man, I really like it, and it's not just the gear. Like basically, you start off as something kind of basic, and then as you upgrade, right, your gear changes, and that's kind of like the visual evolution of what your gear looks like now. Because you get gear not like as a loot, but like as a quest reward or side quest reward or exploration or story, progression, stuff like that. And then of course you can change the dyes based off like the money or the flowers that you've gotten. And it's not just your body armor, but it's also your mask. It's also your hat. It's also your weapons. You can change everything. A lot of the customization is very good and it's very cool. And of course, it has a photo mode. So things, you can, if you're like me, you can spend a lot of time in photo mode with all the different type of stuff. I like that. I like making those. I might even have that as one of my thumbnails. But yeah, the drip is amazing. And that kind of is just going to finalize my thoughts, my thoughts on this video. That's it. If you enjoyed me talking about Ghost of Yotei, then let me know in the comments, of course. And if you want a deeper review later, I have no problem doing that as well. Thanks again for PlayStation sponsoring this video. Ghost of Yotei is out for PS5.
Or that's just crazy.